things FSU, Pistols and Pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
The Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV begins right now. That's a good thing. I'm Jeff. That's Ira. Ira, say hello.
How's it going, Jeff?
Yay, it's working. And really quick, 3, 2, 1, there's Corey. Corey, say hello.
What up?
Oh, and away we go. Yay, sausage. Welcome in, gang. Good to be with you. It's going to be a fun show. I think we're all excited about a couple days off at the end of this week, right? With 4th of July, all that good stuff. We've made it to July, boys.
Do you already have your registers for the 4th of July?
I have my registers for the 4th of July. That's
you.
A true story. Yeah, I have it out in the outside fridge right next to the ice-cold beer waiting for me to grill, buddy.
And next to the invitation it's going to come.
Oh, yeah.
Corey,
yeah.
you did you get the invitation yet?
Oh, for the grill? Corey's stuck in Atlanta. He's not.
Sadly, I'm in Atlanta, but he did really want me to come because he's like, if you don't come, I might have to invite Ira and his family, and who wants that?
It's fine. It's fine. We've got our own thing going on at the house, and yeah, man, we're going to do some registers as well. You, too, should get some register sausage for the 4th of July. Any 4th, the 4th of any month, but certainly the 4th of July. Celebrate independence with some delicious register sausage, best sausage you can get. You can have it delivered if you order it from registermeats.com, or if you live in this part of the country, from over to Alabama, down to Tampa, Jacksonville, up into the Carolinas, expanding day by day. Go to your local grocery store, ask them if they've got register sausage. They might not have every delicious flavor. They may not have the andouille. They may not, like we do here in Tallahassee.
Jalapeno cheddar's where it's at.
But talk to your meat manager and make it happen. The jalapeno cheddar is awesome. Just the plain solid, mild is great. But try them all out. Registermeats.com is the website. I don't know that Ben can get it to you by July 4th at this point, but they'll do their best.
It'd be a miracle.
Yeah,
that'd be really something if
maybe
Ben were able to do that.
I think their plant is in Cottondale, I believe, somewhere in the Panhandle. So maybe if you live in I don't know, Pace, Florida, maybe you could get it by July 4th. But otherwise, you're probably going to be getting it after the 4th.
It's like the new Amazon plant that's here in Tallahassee. I've ordered something and got it like that night. It's actually happened. Yeah. It's amazing.
Can you go pick things up from the Amazon plant?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's too bad. You can't go shop.
We actually had something coming up recently. Kim ordered me something, and it went out for delivery, but right when the day of the tornadoes.
Ooh, that's
so like it arrived in Tallahassee like the day before the tornadoes. Then it said like there was no update for like 4 or 5 days. And we're like, okay, we understand.
Tornado. Yeah, it happens.
And then like the next week, I'm like, well, are we ever going to get an update? And I feel like it seemed like it was just in the facility, but like once it got out of the pipeline,
to go drive the hell out there.
I was like, could I?
Yeah.
Could I just, But,
it's not like a Costco. I don't think you can just ride on into the Amazon place.
We canceled it, reordered it, and we had it pretty quickly.
All right, so we made it to July. I know, again, Corey, it's no big deal to you. Not until they're actually playing football do you get excited about the prospects of football.
He gets excited in September.
But, I mean, come on. We pretty much made it. We pretty much have made it to the home stretch at the very least. This is it. And especially this year with everything moved up, right? I'm excited. They'll be starting camp this month.
We're all going to be at kickoff in a few weeks, Corey.
Corey, you going to be kickoff?
It's going to be a long 3 weeks, though, until they do start camp. That's all I'm saying. This time gets longer. But again, remember, I used to get upset with like Jimbo was the coach, and it's be like, all right, preseason practice is here. You don't get to see any of it, and you get to interview Freddie Stevenson for a month. That was it.
We appreciate Freddie coming
out.
I
love Freddie. Freddie's awesome, and he was a good quote, but it's like that's all. It was like you're excited that football started, but you don't really get to see anything until September. Well, with this particular staff, we literally get to start seeing stuff at the end of July, which is awesome.
And there's a lot of intrigue because the potential's great, as we've all stated on numerous occasions, but still has to be realized. All has to be something that happens. So we'll be watching very intently to see how the right tackle situation gets resolved or how that offensive line is playing. And then in addition to these guys, they need to have step up at the wide receiver position, at tight end, wherever it might be. We're all going to be intrigued.
Yeah, there's not really any position where I think like you're panicked.
No,
but it's just we don't know how it's going to shake out. There's there at all these positions, really safety, receiver, linebacker. I mean, across the board, there's battles. There are some positions that we pretty much know how it's going to look. I think across the defensive line, I think we have a really good idea. Probably for the most part, the offensive line, maybe the offensive backfield, but everything else, and cornerback, but everything else is going to be pretty wide open. So there's going to be great battles all preseason.
Love competition. That's my favorite part, especially once they get into the pads. I mean, admittedly, when we first get out there, you're like, okay, well, let's just look at the newcomers who we haven't seen. Probably chief amongst them will be like Elijah Moore, right? Won't we all be excited to see a 6'4" wide receiver? Because sometimes receivers surprise. Like sometimes receivers and DBs and running backs are positions where you can get some real playing time as a freshman. So you tend to circle those kinds of guys if their body type is right.
How many passes did Rashad catch as a freshman, Corey?
Ooh, I don't know, 40?
I was thinking around 40.
Yeah, he caught a lot.
Yeah.
He's a different type of guy. But yeah, it can happen.
He also got hurt. Remember, he got kind of banged up so at some point, sprained an ankle or something, but I feel like he caught like 35 or 40. Yeah.
That's
he caught like 10 against Clemson.
We haven't seen a lot of that. We might have seen more of it last year if Destyn hadn't got hurt or Hakeem hadn't got hurt. We haven't seen a lot of that, but yes, that is a position where you can come in as a freshman and have a huge role.
That's why, I used Elijah Moore as the example because of that. You're right. It does happen at skill positions where, and sometimes at running back, if you look like Cam Davis, if you are 220 plus pounds with those legs, like I think you can handle it as long as he can block, right? That's the whole thing. You got to make sure you can do all the other stuff, but just in terms of the running, I think he's physical enough already.
But that position, do you think when we come out of camp, do you think we will know how they're going to use all those backs? Like, do you think we're going to have a clear picture of that? Or is it going to be game by game? Or they've got 7 running backs.
It's cool to have options.
Yeah, man, I was thinking about that. I was talking with Aslan about it on the growingly popular. Growingly is a word, right?
I like growingly.
Or groaningly.
Popular wake up Warchant. I think I go into late July, August, the season. Roydell and Toafili are going to split a lot of carries, but Jalen Lucas is going to play a ton.
Sure.
And so when you mention somebody like Cam Davis, who I think has a world of potential, it's like, well, how's he getting on the field? He's not. Toafili's going to play a ton, and Roydell I think is going to play. Roydell's a grown man. Cam looks like a grown man. Physically is I've never seen anything quite like that. But I don't know that he's getting a lot of carries away from those two veterans. And then Jalen Lucas does stuff that nobody else does.
So Lucas is a very unique player, and I almost don't put him in the same category. He's in a different category altogether. I think he's kind of just a not gimmicky player, but he's the kind of guy that you're trying to get out in space. It's not your standard running back position stuff with him. And I think the better question, perhaps, Corey, don't take offense to this, is how does Cam Davis going to get on the field over, say, Keziah Holmes? Because, to me, Toafili's a different running back than Cam Davis, obviously. And you just got done correctly, I think, pointing out that Roydell Williams will be the man. So now we get to
who's that third guy?
Who's a third guy that you would put in there that's a true running back. And Keziah Holmes is a redshirt senior. So how are you going to get, how are you going to make him out? They're also similar body types in that. Obviously Cam's bigger, but Keziah's not small.
He's a power back.
Yeah, he's power back.
Actually, and Daryl Captain D asked in the chat, what's the promo code or the discount going to be from registers when FSU gets out of the ACC? And I think we could speak for Ben. It's just be free sausage for a month. Maybe that's
you're pulling a Corey Clark.
Yeah. You're saying that's the promo code, or that's just Ben's reality?
Ben's just gonna he's gonna go crazy.
Give it away.
Just give it away.
It should just be suck it.
Oh, that could be the promo.
Yeah,
code.
and we're talking about sausage, so this is all great. It works right in. You got to be careful.
Your method of eating sausage might be different from mine.
I'm not talking about methods of anything. It's just suck it, ACC. There you go. That's all it is. There we go. And it's a little dicey, a little aggressive. Some people might think it's aggressive, but we would like to aggressively tell the ACC what we're feeling at this point. It'd be fun. Yeah, Ben, be ready to give away free sausage for a month, according to Ira.
I would say to 100 people, not for a month. He's going to go out of business. But the first 100 that use the Suck It promo code,
maybe we out and then with all that great SEC or Big Ten money.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good. Imagine how great
throwing money at people
in registered sausage. Imagine what it would do in the Big Ten market. You know what I mean? He's not Chicago. But that gets his tentacles into Chicago, in Michigan, in Minnesota.
You know what? I do think now we're talking about this, though. I think when it happens, when Florida State gets into one of these conferences with real money,
the Super 2,
Michael Alford should show up to the first game or the first event he goes to in like the Ted DiBiase $1 Million Man suit. What do you think?
If he
is that classy?
It was not classy, but if he could do it, it would be fantastic. And I hadn't thought about Ted DiBiase in a while. Just you.
Who has, Jeff? Nobody has.
$1 Million Man makes me laugh. It always made me laugh. And he had the cheesiest mustache with the feathers on the hair. It was just ridiculous. If Alfred decided to do it.
What a reference.
Or he could dress up like Virgil.
Yeah. Well, he's bald. Virgil was also bald. Yep. Yeah.
I think we're good.
Got to put on another 100 pounds of muscle, Corey.
That's
Virgil was a big guy. He was a professional wrestler.
You're on your way.
He was a big guy. Ted DiBiase.
Are they both dead? I know Virgil's dead.
I think Ted DiBiase's alive and well.
All right, I'm going to look that up.
Probably not well. Most professional wrestlers aren't well.
Yeah. Well, they're usually not well in their 40s. So you're right.
I know. It's crazy he's still alive. Good for him.
Probably not.
Still alive, 70.
I told you DiBiase was around. I think I saw him recently, like in a interview or something. I'm like, oh my God, the $1 Million Man. He is. By the way, people in the chat kind of answered what I was also going to say, and so I'll tell them that's a great answer, guys. I think Davis and some of these guys are second half running backs when we have big leads and we've worn on people in the run game. Yeah. And now you're just powering, running downhill. It'd be fun that's going to be fun. There are going to be some teams that are outmatched and they get down a couple scorers and you just want to play some old school smash mouth, get you some. Well, here's 225 pounds. Well, and by the way, we got a lot of running backs. So
I was going to say,
it's going to be fun.
Because Holmes is a physical dude. Roydell Williams is a physical dude. And then your quarterback is maybe the biggest of all of them. He's 250 pounds.
Well, and you can run the quarterback, and I think he will in short yard situations and have those options where you roll him out. And if you decide not to come up to make a play, let that big man get moving a little bit. That's 2-3 yards. I mean, good luck stopping him short of the line if you're only trying to get 2 or 3.
I compared, though, their running back trio. I think it's going to be a trio. Those other guys might play late in games you're winning comfortably or just sprinkle them in throughout the game. But you remember 21 when it was Corbin? I'm sure you guys do. Can you hearken all the way back, Ira, to 2021?
I remember Ted DiBiase, Corey. I think I can remember 2021.
So it was Deshaun Corbin and Trayshawn Ward were your two main guys. Mm-hmm. But Toafili was sprinkled in there a good bit too, doing other things. I think that's the Lucas role. Lucas is like 2021 Toafili. But I think Toafili is more of a complete back now. It can be more of like a Trayshawn or Corbin or whatever you want. He's not as physical as Corbin. But I think those two guys are going to get 80% of the carries, Williams and Toafili, if they're healthy. Lucas gets 5%, but also gets catches out of the backfield. I just think it's going to be mainly a trio.
I think Cam Davis will get carries too. It might be 4 or 5 a game, but I think he'll get in the. I don't think he's going to be redshirted. I think he'll get action.
Yeah, and they'll all get opportunities in these games where they're heavy favorites and they get big leads. And to Corey's point, maybe in some of the more high-profile games that are going to be nip and tuck, we're not having 4 or 5 down in the depth chart running the football. But I think there are opportunities for all these guys. And, with running backs, they say it all the time. Sometimes it's a cliche and it gets old, but somebody's got a hot hand. I mean, you have options if somebody's feeling it and running well on a given day, you might do it. I like Singleton. I like all these guys. I like how many options they have. Certainly, you're in a position where you have the diversity of skill set too. So
I also don't think you're married to people this year. Like last year, you were married. Mike Norvell, I felt like
it was going to be the right thing to do. Yeah,
married to Trey Benson. He came back for that year. Even a couple games where he didn't get off to a great start. Trey Benson's your guy. A receiver, you're kind of married to Keon and Johnny. You're married to Jaheim Bell at tight end.
Yeah.
So this year, I think is going to be very different. Like if guys are not producing,
get them out.
They're going to be moving quickly.
Get your ass on that bench.
You have so many options. It really all of those positions. Now again, receiver, I don't know that you don't have the top end options that you did last year, but there's nobody that's like iron like you. We can't take them out of the lineup.
Right. You don't owe them above and beyond. Right. Sometimes you owe players above and beyond just what they've earned on the field in a given week or year. It happens all the time. By the way, it's funny. Yesterday, Corey, I thought of you because I know you feel this way too. And all of us at one point have commented on this. It doesn't do us any good to wallow in it, but it just hit me again how pissed I am that Destyn Hill got hurt in spring. He was really, really, we'll never know, but I think he was about to have a big, big year. I think he was about to be, at the very least, he was going to take a huge step forward. And I think he would have changed the dynamic of that entire room because of that speed. And he's also not small. People think he's small. He's not small. He can really go, and he's thick. And I just thought, God dog it if that hadn't happened. Football's a game, war of attrition. We get it. Physical is all hell. It happens. Everybody loses somebody. I don't want to wallow in it. I hate it for the kid, and I really do think it affects the overall question marks surrounding the wide receivers, because I think, Destyn, we were just going to pencil in that slot and say, boom, stud.
Yeah. And look, you would have had you still got Ja'Kai. You've got other guys that can play the slot, but I think Destyn was about to be I say he was destined to be an all-conference type player. And it was just a week and a half, right, before he got hurt, Ira? 2 weeks maybe?
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, man, look at this. This is an old-school FSU-looking receiver from, the 90s. He would have fit into those teams. And he was making plays. He's just so quick coming in and out of cuts, or, was pre-injury, that you're like, okay, that can play, and that could be an 8-catch, 90-yard guy almost every game, I thought. And him along with Benson, okay, now you're working with two, I think, future NFL guys that maybe they're not Keon, but man, they are going to produce at a high level. And it kind of reminds me of the baseball team when Leiter got hurt and Whitaker got hurt. It changes everybody's role now. People are sped up and have to get on the field that maybe wouldn't have gotten on the field if Destyn absolutely wouldn't have gotten on the field or been asked to do as much if Destyn was still available.
Well, that's the whole thing. It would have allowed Hakeem to, kind of come along in his own pace. Would have allowed any of these guys. Now all of them, like Jalen Brown's got to come along faster now. Everybody's got to let's go. Everybody's got to get sped up.
What I do think, though, the more I think about it, and this could be just the normal progression of the offseason. Like at the end of the spring, you think about all the things that you don't have with a team. And as the summer goes on, you start kind of talking yourself into things a little bit. And as I've gone through that process, and I think this is true, but it might be some rationalization. We lamented the fact that you don't have those guys who can win the contested catches. You don't have the Keon. That was his specialty.
Yeah, big receiver goes up and gets it.
Johnny wasn't as consistent, but he also had that ability too because of the big frame.
Yeah.
You don't have those guys this year. But again, when you think about what this offense is going to look like, that may not be what they need anyway, because if they are going to be predominantly a running team, and that's going to be a focus of the offense, which I think it is going to be, and they feel really excited about the running game, the offensive line improvement, what DJ can do back there as well. Now the passing game is more of those deep shots, which is what DJ did last year at Oregon State, which fits him better. And now now you're not asking Jalen Brown or Kentron Porti or any of these guys to make these really difficult contested catches. You're asking them to just run fast.
Get your fast ass down the field.
We've got a quarterback who can sling it 60, 70 yards without hesitation. And now you're not – those catches, there's a higher degree there's a bigger margin for error on those passes, and the receivers have more of an opportunity to make a play on the ball. So I think that if that works out, if the running game is what they think it's going to be, and this isn't just us talking about it, if you talk to people around the team, Mike Norvell, the staff, they are very excited about this running game. If that comes to fruition, now you don't need receivers like Keon Coleman. You just need dudes who can run, and they've got guys that can run.
Yeah, and you'd love to have both. You'd love to have all of it,
sure,
of course. But you're right. For the offense that they're trying to run, you may not. I mean, listen, last year, their inability to run meant that they were going to throw a lot of jump balls. Well, you better have big dudes that can go up and get said jump balls. And they did enough. And then everybody got hurt and the offense got stagnant, and we all know how it ended. But they still went 13-0, which is somewhat remarkable. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Verno Heating and Air Conditioning.
License CAC 186186.
Feeling hungry but don't want to leave the house? Download the Foodies Takeout and Delivery app and earn points and rewards on every order while supporting local at the same time. Other food deliveries like DoorDash and Uber Eats are taking upwards of 20 to 30% directly out of our local restaurants' pockets, while Foodies does not. Keep money local and support your favorite local restaurants such as El Jalisco, Gordo's, Jerry's, Smitty's Tap House, and many more. Download the free app today and start earning your rewards instantly. Just search for Foodies Takeout and Delivery in any app store or order online at foodiestakeout.com.
I'm Kimmy Hogan with Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we believe you. Now, what does that mean? Over and over, we hear from the people that we represent that when they shared their story of how they were injured, either law enforcement, insurance companies, or business owners didn't believe their story. That's why you need an attorney who has your back, no matter what. An attorney who starts by believing you're telling the truth. We are Basic Brooks, and we believe you. Let's talk. 850-777-7777.
Services, conferences to call away. 222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service repairs and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails, and a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. And now offering electrical services too.
Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Order license CMC 050334 and EC 130-12140.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
I got a question for you guys. Kind of curious. What's your favorite 4th of July memory? Got a ton of good 4th of July memories, usually centered around sports. Like, I don't know if for you guys, I don't know if it was a baseball game or anything like that. For me, I used to go to Tampa Stadium to go see the Rowdies play, and they had this huge firework display afterwards after the game. And that one year they beat Pele and the New York Cosmos 2-1, and Winston DuBose made a big, huge save. And I'll remember thinking, we were all just over the moon that they had beaten. Pele was like 105 years old, but we thought it was the biggest deal in the world.
We got some good memories from that U.S. soccer team this last few days.
Kicking ass.
Kicking ass. Create memories.
A lot of things have changed. Yeah, another year and just, yeah.
You know what, man, for me, growing up in Miami Beach, I think this is one of the nice things. I mean, there were a lot of good things about growing up in Miami Beach, but one nice thing was on 8th Street Beach, I think it was on 8th, it might have been a little bit further down, they would do the huge display on the water. You know, they would have like a barge out there, and like they would have like sandcastle contests and all this stuff. It was just kind of like stuff out of like, the Wonder Years or something.
When you're a kid, you can sit out there for hours and hours and hours waiting for the fireworks.
Without supervision, I think we were out there the whole day just running the beat.
Listen, we all grew up in an era where kids were not supervised. We were all absconded with at some point or another, right? We all have that story. Somebody abused it. It's just, you just fucked up and you moved on. That's how, shook it off.
Dirt on it.
Just shook it off and moved on. Why did that man put out a cigarette in my arm? Where's mom? I don't know. But like, this is just how it worked back then, you know?
But yeah, I mean, to me, those were the memories. I had some later memories that were a lot of fun involving alcohol and.
Oh yeah, those are different kinds of memories. But as a kid,
that was mine, Corey. What you got?
I guess I was thinking nothing really came to mind except, you know, it would always I'd swell up with pride a little bit every July 4th when we'd go to Stone Mountain for the laser show. I don't know if you guys have been to the laser show.
Yeah.
But we did that occasionally on a July 4th, and there was, looking back 40 years later, it was a little odd.
It was what it was.
It was what it was. It was a different time, different era. Still the same mountain, but different era. I haven't been to the laser show probably in 30 years, but literally that's the only thing that jumped to mind is like I do remember going to the laser show because they had the fireworks afterwards, and they always had the fireworks for the laser show, but this was a different deal. And then you had the sparklers. I remember that. That's all I remember.
You didn't like later on.
I killed a drifter. I did kill a drifter one July.
No, that was a good day. That was a good day.
I don't know anything about him. Never. I kept checking the newspapers. Nothing ever.
It's best that nobody else knows about him. I'd zip it. I will also tell you, by the way,
he knew when he came to that Circle K, he was taking a chance.
Yeah, it's a gas station, ain't it? I mean, he's got no shot. Right?
Corey flipped the script on him.
Yep, I sure did. I ain't scared of nobody anymore at a Circle K.
You mean to tell me that you later on didn't enjoy like a good Pink Floyd laser light show?
No.
Did you have those in Atlanta? Because like in South Florida, yeah.
Oh, they're everywhere in South Florida, yeah.
No, I didn't do anything like I don't know. No great July 4th. And I didn't go that famous Braves-Mets game where Rick Camp hit the home run in the 17th inning. Which is always a funny story because it was a huge rain delay, and then the game went 18 innings. Yeah. And anybody that was still there on July 4th, 1985, when the Braves were horrible, was only to see the fireworks. So they end up setting off the fireworks in downtown Atlanta at 3:45 in the morning when the game ended. So the people that lived around there thought they were being bombed. This was in the middle of the Cold War. So the news the next 2 days was all these people that lived by the stadium being interviewed, being woken up from a dead sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning, thinking they're being bombed.
My brother shot me with a bottle rocket and in the front yard 5 times after he was told repeatedly, don't aim that at anybody. It's very dangerous. And I tried to run and hit my shoulder against a tree.
Did he intentionally aim it at
you? Without question. He was trying to hit my eyes. Yeah. This is what we get kids. You don't understand. This is the kind of maiming and harm done to brothers and other people. We did it all the time. This is what happened.
We could literally do a show on just things that you did to brothers or friends.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, my brother sent me to the hospital at least 3 times, and other friends. I mean, a friend threw a dart into my arm, like a real dart.
My brother shot my hand with a BB gun, and we used to later on, by the way, go have BB gun wars in the Christmas tree forest in St. Pete. I mean, we would straight shoot. I mean, I remember my buddy got shot through the cheek, and we're out here warring. We're like, come on, we got to get the flag. We just kept going.
Y'all lived a pretty. I just want to say, obviously, you guys lived like a country club, pretty comfortable lifestyle. Jimmy Carter Boulevard, you're not shooting darts. You're shooting bullets. You ain't wasting your time with darts or BB guns. You're shooting the real thing on JCB.
Corey was gangbanging back in the day.
Yeah, well, listen, we all have our own horror stories, whether it be shady Tampa for me or obviously South Florida for Ira. He's seen it all. My goodness gracious. And then, of course, the Jimmy Carter where the mattresses are just on the street. That's how you know.
They're everywhere.
That's how you know. There's no segueing out of that. I just wanted everybody's favorite
Somebody asked in the chat, so does that mean that Morlock is the only guy that could catch contested passes? No, I think Kentron can. I mean, Kentron's a guy that
Benson definitely can too.
Malik Benson 100% can. Kentron Portier can. We think Hakeem can be that kind of guy. You just haven't seen it yet. But the guys we've seen do it, like especially in practice, for sure, Malik and Kentron, it's just not going to be the focal point of this offense, I don't think.
And we're getting back to the overall discussion about what has to happen for Florida State to have a special season. And we think they can be good regardless, but to be special, to be great, to win the conference again and go to the playoff and all those things, you're going to have some guys do some things that they haven't shown you that they can do. And it doesn't mean they can't, but we haven't seen it yet from several guys. So we're waiting to see. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. That will help dictate terms in the way that we talk about what they are or are not. But as of right now, they need some dudes to step up. Again, doesn't mean that they won't get it. I think they will from some guys. I'm pretty excited about a few guys. I actually think Morlock's going to have a very good year. He's not a great blocking tight end, period. That has to get better. I would assume it's going to get better. He's got to be stronger than he was a year ago.
Yeah,
he's probably put on more weight. He's got a better chance at it. I don't know that you would ask a freshman in Thomas to do that. He's going to be more of a receiver at tight end.
I think he's capable.
He's got enough He's a big kid. But I don't think that's going to be the strength of the team. So, that's just – there are some things you got to see people do before you know, all right, good. They've got that secured now. They can take another step forward and be more dynamic on offense. But we'll see. McCoy had a great spring, by the way. Yeah. I don't know what I would project that to mean for a season for him. It's hard to know, but I like his skill set.
Now, when you talk about freshman receivers, he definitely caught your eye, right, Corey?
Yeah, he was the best of the bunch we saw of the freshmen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In the spring.
And I think, honestly, just for the spring, that includes Hakeem. I put Hakeem and Vandravius, who's no longer on the team. Hakeem, I guess, is a sophomore, Ira, or is he a redshirt freshman?
We've corrected you a few times on this.
It's crazy. Well, I thought they all got redshirt years no matter how many games they played. I thought it was the new world order of college football. But I thought McCoy was better than all the young guys in the limited times we saw him in the spring. He just made more kind of wow type, whoa, that's a nice catch. That looked a little bit different than all the other guys I thought. They were young.
And somebody might be wondering, well, how come we didn't see it in the spring game? Well, he's a little banged up. He was a little banged up, and so he was limited. I don't even know that he had a catch. But, it was sort of just look, guys get banged up at the end of spring camp. I don't ever use that showcase as a means to decide what somebody's going to be. But I thought he was really good in practice. So we'll see what he's going to be. And, again, like we already said, Elijah Moore comes in at 6'4". Who knows? He may surprise you. He may be a contested catch and Jesse at that size. So that's part of it too. I just know that I'm excited because there are a lot of questions, but there's a lot of talent. And I also think the defense is going to be damn good. Like really good.
Yeah.
Like really, really, really good. As in, I think the defense will be a top 10 defense.
Well, but I think the story that we haven't talked about yet, not that I impugn the way you're driving the show, Jeff, you're doing a great job, but it is early July.
You throw a different softball? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I think that, yes, I like the talent on this team, but I think the big news of the last week and a half is the way they're accruing talent right now.
Of course. That's changed.
I wrote a column that I think Ira published already.
Now we see the real motivation.
Column.
Yeah, this was not about the way that the show was being driven. It was more about I need to pimp my column,
We've been on the air for 35 minutes.
Yeah. Nobody else is going to. Clearly, I gave you 35 minutes, and I wasn't seeing it happening.
I should have led with it. I should have started the show with it.
Hey, guys, Corey wrote a column.
Hey, but I will tell you, go read the column, warchant.com, subscribe to warchant.com. Yeah, go do that and celebrate the fact that you're part of the greatest of all those team sites that cover this wonderful university. But I would tell you this, Corey, I'm glad you wrote the column because you had something to write about. You had something that was very real and tangible, man. They've turned the corner. It's a blue chip world these days for Florida State. Player after player that says yes is a high profile high school recruit, which is the next step to the growth.
And we've talked about it ad nauseum really for, 18 months about portal versus high school kids and portal versus high school kids. Well, then, I thought about this anyway, but then Aslan, again, on the growingly popular Wake Up Warchant, had pointed out, the top 5 portal classes last year, Florida State was in the top 5, along with Louisville, Colorado, and Ole Miss. Meanwhile, go look at the top 5 high school recruiting classes.
Sure.
That's the neighborhood you want to live in. It's LSU, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and maybe Clemson. I don't remember who the 5th one was.
I don't think it was.
It's that's the next step. That's the final step. And look, we can argue whether you can build a roster, a championship team with the portal or not. Obviously, you can because he just did it. But over the long haul, to be consistent, man, it feels really good. I bet for Florida State fans to look and see where your name is back where it belongs in these high school recruiting rankings too.
Well, just two things. One is I agree with you for the most part. I also. We also got to remember it is still July. and those guys don't sign till December. In Florida State,
that was a big part of the column.
But I don't think you really focused enough on this, though. Maybe that if you look at last year going into December, that class was really highly rated, and it kind of fell apart down the end. They lost the safety, they lost a couple defensive linemen.
The holding of the commitment.
Yeah, so it's great to be up there now. That's awesome, but it's not the last box to check. The last box is actually getting them to sign
on signing
December.
day, and they've had a hard time with that with a couple 5-star kids that they thought they had. So that's why fans get nervous, rightfully so.
But on the other side of it, the other thing I would say is they didn't have a chance to really check this box, I don't believe, the last few years because of where the program was. And, Mike Norvell did not have we've gone over this a million times. He didn't have the first 2 years that most coaches get to go out and really kill it in recruiting to sell that new car smell because everything was shut down. They didn't get to have visits for like 18 months, get kids on campus to even meet them and spend time with them with a staff that didn't have a lot of Florida connections.
And if you marry it with a bad record, it's hard to sell anything. Sure, absolutely.
So I think that they had to go the portal route. They were very fortunate that the portal existed. They did it. Now they've had success. To me, this is the first chance. This probably the end of last season, that last class, and then this class were the first chances really for them to sell off of success.
So in your mind, real quick before we break on this note, because I would say this just to present it properly for listeners and fans of the program. This would be the first time you would allow for pretty serious criticism if they fail.
If this class tanks at the end, if they finish at 15 or 16,
at some point you're going to have to say, look, guys,
that's bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, at that point, it would be a referendum on those coaches that aren't getting those kids to sign on the line, which is dotted on the day that matters the most. Yeah.
There are people that have said this staff, for whatever reason, hasn't closed with those guys. I'm like, man, whatever. This is a 5-star safety from Atlanta that chose Georgia at the end of the day over. I'm not wringing my hands over that. That to me, or the kid in Alabama that ends up sticking with Auburn because of however that played out. Like those to me are acceptable.
But now you would say, hold on.
At this point, if you're coming off of 13 wins, if you have another good season, you've had this time invested. If you can't seal the deal with a bunch of these big time guys, now you've got a real problem.
And I say this as a Braves fan who's very weirdly, I'm glass half full when it comes to baseball. Like, man, just be in the dance, be in the conversation. The Braves were in the conversation for 20-something years. They won twice, but they're in the conversation, like Florida State baseball. The fact that Florida State football is not having to recruit against Tulane and Memphis anymore, but is now in real battles and winning some with the absolute big boys and losing some. Like, you lost them to Georgia at the end last year. He lives 30 miles away from Georgia. But like that, to me, you're in the conversation with so many more of these kids. That to me is when you really know that. I mean, obviously get the facts or the PDF, however they do it now on signing day. But the fact that you're recruiting these kids and they're visiting and you're really in play for them, again, is another step. Now, yes, finish it off with an actual signing.
That'll be the big one. They'll be under pressure to do so, but I think they're going to have success. And if they have success on the field, it will further, elevate the level in which the blue chip players we're referencing see them. Like there are kids now that are, looking at a different school, for example, let's say that season goes south. You got a chance on a couple of those players.
Oh, there's definitely some guys that Florida State's in the running against Florida and Miami with.
Right.
If those schools do
Let's see
not
how the
have good
seasons play out. Let's see how it works. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
The Florida Freedom Month sales tax holiday began Monday. The state is offering the sales tax holiday to encourage people to get outdoors. During July, sales tax won't be collected for outdoor recreation activities like swimming, fishing, and camping. But things like life jackets and fishing rods being tax-free, the idea is to hopefully spark a new generation of outdoor enthusiasts. The sales tax holiday only applies to items that are purchased, not rented. The state expects Floridians will save nearly $92 million on sales tax this month. The sales tax holiday also provides savings for concert tickets, museums, and state park admissions. A former Thomasville High School football player, 19-year-old DeMario DJ Thurman, has been identified as the person that was killed in a car crash in Leon County. The crash happened on Thomasville Road in Leon County on Wednesday, June 26, around 2:34 p.m. It was reported that DJ's car lost control for unknown reasons. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A heat advisory continues until 7 p.m. tonight. Highs around 89 this afternoon under mainly cloudy skies with storms likely. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight. Chance of thunderstorms. Lows around 76. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 86.
I'm Caleb. I'm the lawn supervisor at Paul's Termite and Pest Control, and I really do love my job. Paul's has created an incredible work environment that always puts our customers' needs first. Their needs are our concerns, and my particular job of improving the health of North Florida lawns is something I truly enjoy. I'm an outdoor person, and I get to be outside all day, watching the lawns run through the stages full of weeds to weedless to lush, grass-filled landscapes is very rewarding. I'm proud to represent Paul's.
I'm Jay. Having the privilege to work with people like Caleb and all of our employees is truly an honor. There is no doubt that the staff of Paul's Termite and Pest Control is the best in our industry. All of our people are local, and local really does mean something. We are North Floridians. Our kids go to school here. We shop here. We build relationships here, and we honor our commitments. To all of our customers, thanks for trusting us to protect your family, pets, and home.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too, call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
But kind of like what you were doing, Corey, a moment ago, I'll reiterate again here now, and just because it's fun to do. The reason that you can have the conversation or write the column about, hey, look, things have changed. This is where Florida State's at now. These blue chip players are coming. They're visiting. They're excited to see what Florida State has to say and offer. Some of them are now saying yes, is because, look, man, Florida State is in a place. We're now covering a program that is, I think, going to be weighted with expectation from here on out. I don't think it goes backwards. I don't think that Mike Norvell is going to enter a season anytime soon where Florida State fans are going to be like, 7-5. Like, nobody's going to do that. Fair or not. I mean, they'll lose some players. There'll be years that they exceed beyond what the expectations were and years where they don't.
Well, we'll see what conference they're in. And if that changes the conversation.
Yeah, of course.
As long as you're in the ACC, I agree with you 100%.
Oh, if you're in the ACC and you're not going at least 10-2, then you're doing something wrong. You're not operating at peak efficiency. I mean, if you're Florida State and Clemson, there aren't too many years where you go, 8-4 would be good. In the ACC, go to hell with that nonsense. That's not what we're doing. So
even with Cal and Stanford and SMU in the fray now, even with those big boys.
What a special day, boys, it was on Monday.
Did you guys soak up the big celebration? Watch a lot of the ACC network?
I got to tell you, when that day when I came on the airwaves, I said, gosh, what a special time in college football. What a special time for this league.
Did you get a commissioner on yesterday?
I didn't, but I celebrated with Tom, and I said, Tom, look here, man, this is the world we live in now. On this great day, Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC, whatever. Cal said yes.
Hey, they got a Texas school. The ACC got a Texas school.
Cal said yes. SMU said yes. Stanford said yes. And today we welcome them as brothers into the ACC. And we both had to pause for a moment. Let that wash over you a little bit. Let it wash over you. You're like, man, Commissioner Phillips, that's a counter. I see your Texas and Oklahoma. How about we add 3 big boys to the ACC?
Corey, what are you gonna do to celebrate the next Stanford Water Polo Championship or Equestrian Championship? Like,
what about the fencing championship?
Fencing.
I mean, keep going. Rowing. I assume they're the best synchronized diving school in the country. Like in ping pong, I'm sure. Well, ping pong, they're probably not. But everything else, I don't know. It's a good question though, Ari. And I was thinking, like, it is cool now that, like, Tiger Woods is an all-time ACC great.
ACC great.
All time.
Yeah. Marshawn Lynch, Aaron Rodgers.
So the folks at Alabama will be like, we have Justin Thomas. We're like, we've got Tiger Woods.
Trumped.
We've got Tiger Woods.
Eric
it's
Dickerson
over.
is a longtime Colts fan. Eric Dickerson. You kidding me?
Yeah.
My God.
And that's something.
Enjoyed him killing those ACC schools back.
Craig
in the day.
James.
Oh yeah, we all love him.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, it's and I guess the ACC network went out to Texas and did like a big live broadcast.
A big celebration, as only they can.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Of course they did.
I mean, you got to try, Ira. You got to try.
Survival. They just grabbed those schools for survival when Florida State and Clemson leave.
No, I'm saying the ACC network has to try.
Oh, I get it.
I go celebrate SMU, even though nobody in Dallas even cares.
Although I think SMU long term would be very good for this conference after we're long gone. But SMU is invested. There are big time billionaires from that school that have invested.
They
want to win. Yes.
SMU in a power conference it could be a thing.
I actually think it is a thing.
They've got a coach who wants to be there.
And they have very motivated, rich people who are alumni from SMU that want it too. Right. So I do think, look, in Dallas-Fort Worth is swimming in money. They're going to continue to grow that stadium. And they need to go back to those kick-ass uniforms when they were cheating their ass off. Yeah. Those SMU uniforms were the best. Forget that. No doubt. That would be me, and I would embrace everything surrounding that era if I were them. And don't run in shame. No, sir.
I think some people say Cal's a sleeping giant.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah,
you said that.
People have always said that.
Yeah. But the Pony Express, I'd have it written up on top of the wall when we came in. Eric Dickerson would be there for the first game.
When you combine Cal's lack of tradition and their incredible debt, I mean, really, they were. It's a combination that you really.
Well, don't forget complete lack of fan interest.
Mm-hmm.
That to go along with their lack of history and debt, like it's the great trio. It's a trifecta of just absolute nonsense, adding nothing. Except it's a great university. They might discover the cure for cancer, and then we'll all be excited about the ACC.
Stanford might as well. I will let you know that I've run down that field before on that campus at Cal. I've run down that field. I did all 100 yards and did so right before a graduation. I was out there visiting a friend, and anyhow, I ran down that field just to say I did it. I didn't know at that time.
When's the last time you ran 100 yards straight? Well, you've done it on a treadmill or whatever, but on a field.
No, at Cal. That was it. That was the last time. It sucked, but I did it. That's not right. I did it at Tulane last summer in New Orleans in the dead of heat.
It's but that was where the band is on the field. That was at Cal, right? It had to be because or maybe it was Stanford. Whose band was on the field? Was it Stanford's band that was on the field?
Stanford's band, but I think weren't they playing Cal?
Well, they were playing Cal.
I know they were playing Cal, but it must have been a Stanford home game.
So it's definitely Stanford.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy things I've seen at stadiums, I thought this was funny, and it's got a little bit of a Florida State tie that I don't think we've ever talked about. So Brady played in a tournament this weekend, and he was at a local high school up here in Atlanta where they had the banners from their accomplishments on the left field wall, and it says like 2019 Sweet 16, 2021 Elite 8, 2022 quarterfinals, 2023 Sweet 16, and that's it. Except for in the middle between 19 and 21, it says 2020 and then just COVID. That's what the banner says.
Put the banner up there?
They put a banner up there that said 2020 COVID.
Should Florida State put it on their ring?
We would have won some stuff that year too, believe us.
You guys, lucky it was COVID is what you.
But it's like all the people in the stands, and I told some of the parents about because Florida State have something similar in the Civic Center for their team, the 2020 team. They put an NCAA tournament.
The team that won
that's
the
legitimate. But no, even if they hadn't won the ACC tournament, they were going to play in the NCAA tournament, which is what the banner was for. But this legitimately looks like this high school is celebrating COVID with its own banner, like 2020 COVID.
Put a spotlight on it.
Yeah, it's really funny just in the middle of it. It's like I heard three different moms at three different times go, why do they have a COVID banner up there?
My favorite part of something like that is when you see it, you think, oh, that's weird. And then later on, you think about it more and you go, there wasn't an administrator to walk in here and go, guys, what are we doing?
Do we need that?
Nobody thought that, like, you should just pull that off?
The sign maker being like, wait, you want to make what? You want to have what kind of sign? And you want it to just say COVID, not season canceled, not record when season was canceled, just straight 2020 COVID.
Hey, hour one is really the only time we'd get a chance to talk about it. I don't know. Maybe there's a question about it. Did we have anything to say about the extension of Link? real quick before the hour's up?
Yeah.
Other than good job.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is interesting from the standpoint of, he did have a 7-year contract. So it's not like, recruits are worrying about his future.
Man, I don't know.
But I think to me, so the distance or duration isn't the story there. We don't know the numbers yet, but you assume he got a nice bump for winning or going to the College World Series.
Yeah, be one of the last 4 teams standing. Yeah.
So, good on Michael Alford, I think, and the administration for being proactive. Link's name was floated out there a little bit for A&M. I don't know whether I've heard conflicting things about whether or not there was an interest or not on either side. I think that would have been a colossal mistake for him if he had if that had gotten out, if he was seriously considered it. And after all of the talk about 11 and what Florida State means, I don't begrudge anybody for wanting to explore options or to listen, but man, that would have been a tough sell if that had gotten out during the negotiations. So good for Florida State and Link Jarrett to just kind of move on quickly and get a deal in place.
And there's no way a successful coach at Florida State would ever leave for that cow college. Why would you? Who would do that, Ira? Who would do that? And how would their career end up going?
A recipe to be fired is what that would be at some point.
If you get really rich, that helps too.
Hey, I will say this though, and the one sad part about all that is, and I don't think Leak would have taken that job whether they were interested or not. I would say this: until you get out of the ACC, that is the threat that is always there, right? Is that schools like that in that league decide, well, we're going to make a change, or we have to make a change in their case. Let's just take that guy who's kicking ass in the lesser than
and I will say this, and again, this is, again, man, like I've had great jobs that, including my current one, where I've had other people ask if I'd be interested, and I will listen.
You have to listen. You owe it to yourself.
I don't begrudge him listening. And this is a tough job, man. Like Florida State is a tough job right now because of the ACC, as you said, because of the lack of money and resources, the Florida State's issues with facilities. Like this is Link Jarrett. This is my opinion. You guys may agree or disagree. I think you probably agree. I think every day he goes to work, he's walking a little more uphill than the schools he's competing with. Like there's more of a challenge at Florida State right now because of facilities, because of financial situation, the ACC at Florida State, than a lot of these schools he's got to be competing with, the Tennessees and the Texas A&Ms and Auburn, all those schools. But it is his hometown. It is the school he played for. It is the school he's talked about this mission of trying to bring this championship. Man, that would have been a crazy turn of events. That's all I'm saying. For that to even get out there that he was seriously considering.
That would have been bad. And I doubt that he was ever seriously considering. And I want to make it clear on your behalf. You're not telling people you think he did.
and I'm also saying, like, I would, but I don't want to be talking on both sides of my mouth, because 99.9% of the time I would say, yeah, man, you got to listen. And if you're in a situation where Florida State's not the best situation, like a lot of times fans think Florida State is the best situation. Going back to Jimbo, I mean, like, he had legitimate concerns about Florida State. Some of his things, we make fun of Jimbo all the time, but some of his concerns were legitimate. And Link's got legitimate concerns right now. I just think that the other part of it would have made it impossible for fans to understand.
Hour number 2 forthcoming. We'll get the headliner questions on the other side. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Wooden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Wooden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Surprising flavors, cultural authenticity, and unique adventures are some of the main ingredients that go into every single plate served at Café de Martín, Tallahassee's best Peruvian dining experience. Led by classically trained Chef Martín, passion for culture, passion for flavor, and a passion for people can be felt from the moment you step inside. Café de Martín also offers an unparalleled outdoor dining experience in the garden. Surrounded by vibrant flowers and plants and nestled between carefully curated decor, the shaded and breezy outdoor garden features elegant live music regularly, and the romantic evening lighting makes Café de Martín the best place to share conversation and connect with the ones you love. Every dish is made from scratch, and every drink is handmade made by trained bartenders, offering the very best margaritas and old fashions in the city. Take a trip to a Peruvian paradise right here in the capital city. Visit Café de Martín and El Bar on Capital Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Find the full menu online at cafedemartin.com.
This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Investors, are you looking for a creative way to purchase your next rental property? Are you looking to get into the Airbnb space? If so, you need to know about DSCR loans. It stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. These are loans that do not require traditional income verification. As long as the proposed rent covers the mortgage payment on the subject property, that's the only income you need. If you're looking at investing and don't know if you can qualify, let's set up a plan to get your next income producing property and start putting you on a path to passive income. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. And don't forget, every fellow Nole that we close a loan for, I will personally make a donation of $250 to the Battle's End. It's Shannon Young at 954-369-6171.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373030. Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
NASCAR Cup Series on the streets of Chicago for the Grant Park 165 of the 4th of July holiday weekend. Christopher Bell, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Kyle Larson all plus 550 to win it. Tyler Reddick is 6-1. Soon JM, the 16-1 favorite to win the John Deere Classic at TPC Deere Run this week. Sepp Straka 18-1, Jordan Spieth and Aaron Rye both 20-1. Ronaldo Lopez on the mound for the Atlanta Braves today. $1.85 favorite against Aiden Birdsong of the Giants, plus 154. 8.5 over the total. Rays plus 102 at Kansas City, minus 122 today. 9 flat at Kauffman Stadium. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. Progressive.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Summer is the season we all look forward to, and Macy's is kicking it off with summer's greatest hits. A celebration of those spontaneous moments we'll remember forever. That day at the beach, backyard barbecues, summer weddings, and fireworks. Because no matter what summer has in store, Macy's is here for the ride, for the big days, and all the little moments that make up summer's greatest hits. Let's make this a summer to remember. Check out Macy's.com/summer hits today.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not a rate based on Terry, who keeps and makes the car behind them. Oh no, they're about to. Save with DriveWise in the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Searching for the best place to spend time outdoors this spring and summer? The Golf Club at Summerbrook has all the amenities you and your family need. Purchase a family pool membership this season and enjoy the most luxurious and relaxing resort-style pool in the entire city. With a 6,000 square foot deck, covered pavilion, and poolside drink and food service, you'll feel like you're on vacation. Reserve your pool membership today. Visit the Golf Club at Summerbrook.com or call 850-894-GOLF. That's 894-GOLF.
Dream it, plan it, do it. Brian Barnard's Flooring America offers a straightforward way to shop with our streamlined shopping. Finding the right flooring is simple. Visit our newly remodeled showroom featuring the Room to Explore shopping experience, where our knowledgeable staff will walk you through the steps. Our family has been serving the area since 1976 with a local staff of more than 35 people trained in flooring sales and design. We know floors and we know styles. Let us help make your home timeless. Brian Barnard's Flooring America, where friends send friends.
What will the Noles do to follow up and unconquer 2023? Warchant.com, the market leader in FSU football and sports coverage, is the place to find out. Join the largest FSU fan community and talk Seminole sports in Warchant's Travel Council and premium recruiting message board forum. Enjoy special access to multimedia elements like Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, and Seminole Headlines, plus exclusive forums with FSU student athletes and a members-only discount to Garnet and Gold. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source. Head to Warchant.com and sign up today.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, headliner questions coming your way. Welcome back. Good to be with you as always. And I would again celebrate this hour as we do with all of our collaborators. We appreciate them very, very much. And that includes you, Dr. Birch. Birch Orthodontics, best in the business by far. My kids both went there. All of Ira's kids went there. And if Corey's kid lived here, he'd be there too. And your kids should be there as well. If they need to be.
Yeah, Corey's, Stephanie's kids went there. Jean's kids went there. It's on and on, guys.
It goes on for days.
And if I want, I'm not gonna put everybody's business out on Front Street. That's not what we do.
No.
But there's some very prominent people in this town. If you want to rub elbows with and be seen, it's Birch Orthodontics where you want to be. It's really, I think you could say it's the orthodontist to the stars.
The waiting room is amazing. When you go in there, you're like, and there is so-and-so. I didn't. Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
It's
like
Birch Orthodontics.
It's like Spago in Beverly Hills, right? That's
Very
what
much,
Birch Orthodontics is. Yeah.
It's BURCH orthodontics.com. And again, like I said, not just the way we found them is because they do great work. But when we didn't find them because of great work, we found them because they have free consultations. They're very welcoming. They'll talk about your case, make your kids feel at ease, make you feel at ease. And then they have payment plans and everything else to make the process as smooth as possible. But the crowning glory is they do tremendous work. And you'll feel very excited about your kids will be much happier going through that process as well.
The added bonus is that they're good at what they do. That's what you're saying.
That's like, that's just, a lot of times, Jeff, I just want good customer service.
Right.
Like I'll go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
That's not even a great restaurant.
No.
But if I like the help.
Yeah.
Like it's enjoyable.
Well, your dad was in the restaurant business. So you care greatly about anybody in the service industry that is out there doing the hard work of bringing the food and making sure that the customer's happy. Right. And so that's what you're saying.
Yes.
But it's nice if the food's
If
actually
the food's good
Yeah.
too, man. Now we're cooking with gas. And that's how I would go to Birch Orthodontics. I'd send my kids there if they didn't do great work.
No, they could just yank out teeth and you'd be like, it's the price you pay to be seen.
But you get it all at Birch Orthodontics. Trust us.
Tyler is going to test us here right off the bat. Gentlemen, please answer for each other. So I don't know how we want to do this, but if you three were a type of register sausage, what type would you be? And he says, look, there's no shame on being the short link either. He wants everybody to know that
So we got to pick for each other?
I guess we got to pick for each other.
I'm going to say Corey's the andouille because he's got a little flair. He's not andouille. He's the andouille.
Andouille.
He's got that little kick, little flair to him. That would be my choice.
Okay, I like it. Corey, you want to go next?
I'll answer for Ira. And then you have to answer for yourself.
Okay.
Is that how we're supposed to play?
I can do that.
I would say Ira is, what's the regular kind?
I appreciate that. It's just
I
mild.
think that's right.
It's just mild.
It's not short link, right? It's just regular. And I just say that like not that you're like a milk toast person.
No, but he's an everyman, a smart everyman, a talented everyman, but he's an everyman.
Solid.
Just solid as a rock.
I'm not trying to be
the talking more about just his food palate. He is the most boring eater that's ever been created.
That is true. He is a hamburger and French fries kind of guy.
I think Shanna's the most boring.
Well, you're correct. You're right. Yeah, I meant male.
Number two. but I don't. No, I'll expand my horizons for spice. I like spicy foods. I just don't like a lot
You've
of.
gotten better since I've met you. It's a true story. In the original courtship of us becoming friends and getting to know each other and doing something away from the radio, I remember thinking, Ira never eats anything but the most bland nonsense I've ever seen in my life. That's true.
I have,
but you've gotten better. You've ventured out. You've decided, you know what? Maybe I'll take a risk tonight.
It doesn't have to be a grilled chicken sandwich or a hamburger. The fear of the unknown is the problem for me. But I'm going to pick yours then, Jeff.
Okay, you go ahead.
You don't have to pick yours. We'll go with the jalapeno cheddar.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. Corey, would you agree with that? I see.
Yeah. You're just oozing cheese.
Flavor,
That's
just
what it is.
flavor.
There it is.
Some spice.
I like
You just
it.
ooze things.
That's easy now. Sean wants to know, do you find when you speak with the public, do more FSU fans want to go to the Big Ten because of the ESPN snub or the SEC because of the proximity of the games and the culture? I personally would rather go to the Big Ten to hurt ESPN and the SEC because of the snub. I have to have consequences there, in my opinion. So that's Sean, the old school and original headliner, elite headliner. I think the vocal segment of this audience that like responds to us in the chat or is on Twitter or on message boards seem to side with the idea that screw ESPN, screw the SEC, we should go to the Big Ten. But I think that there's probably a silent majority that, even though they were rightfully furious with what occurred, would rather be in the SEC. Corey, do you agree with that?
I 100% do, but I can tell you when you do talk to Florida State fans, but it's so recent, man. It happened 8 months ago. It's not like we're talking 5 years in the past. This happened 8 months ago, and that was the last game that was played because we don't count what happened in South Florida as a game. So, like, that's still so fresh on the mind that I understand that. Like, I'm always having to talk to Florida State fans who are saying, screw the SEC. I want to go to the Big Ten. And I'm like, you don't really want to. If you could choose either one, you're going to want to go to the one that's a lot closer. They'll come here, you'll go there, and you don't have to go to the Midwest or out west or up north. But right now, weirdly, I would say most fans I talk to about it, their preference right now, July 1st, that I've heard anecdotally is the Big Ten. They prefer the Big Ten.
I think that is the way a lot of people feel now. Probably more people feel now. It's completely different from what it was a year ago. You know, I think a year ago, most people would have been, majority would have been, but it's not just the fact that you got screwed for an SEC school. You got screwed by the people that feel like they're promoting that network and at your expense. I mean, so I understand why people are like, screw them. I don't want to deal with them.
I get all their anger. I get all of their anger, and I believe it's justified, and I still think we should go to the SEC.
If you had to choose. If you got to choose, yeah.
If you got to choose. And I also think that there are a lot of people who are just as angry as everybody else about what happened, but at the end of the day, they would join the evilness that is the ESPN-led SEC.
I will say this, though. If it's the Big Ten, Alfred still can wear out the DiBiase suit. And we still are rolling in money.
Well, now
so
that is
I think it's okay. Like, there's no big loss, I don't think.
And on a serious note, I do think that all parties involved, whether that be those that are for Florida State going to the SEC or those that desperately want them to avoid that and go to the Big Ten, everybody can concur that they got to get the hell up out of here and join one of those two. Nobody wants to go to the Big 12. I've heard nonsense about that. No, you're not doing that. You're going to go to one of those Big Two, and you know what? Fine. Either way, you're going to be all right. You're going to be eating from the money trough as long as you're in one of those two.
Right.
That's it.
I think, and as far as on the field success, I mean, I think you'd have more immediate success in the Big Ten. But man, it would be fun, man. It would be fun to see Florida State on an even playing field, because one of the things that we don't talk about as much, because we don't talk about recruiting as much. But if you talk to Michael Langston, Matt Lasser, the other guys that cover recruiting in this town, they'll tell you that it is a challenge to sign kids at Florida State when they're choosing between FSU and SEC schools, because the perception of the athletes
and the longer it goes on, the more they're going to find themselves in a really deleterious position. It's not a good situation.
So when those schools can't use that against Florida State anymore in recruiting, and Florida State's got as much money as those SEC schools, and they can't be out negative recruited because they're not in the SEC.
Correct.
it would be fun to see what Florida State does. I mean, with this coaching staff, I mean, they I think Florida State could do really, really well.
But we also all get wanting to screw ESPN and SEC in the moment right now.
Yeah, and all those things can be true, right? I mean, I think I think we all agree that was egregious, and it struck to the integrity of the game.
But that can't be the determining factor of the future of your university and your athletics is because you got screwed in December of 2023.
And we all give in to things that we hate all the time because it makes more sense to do so than not in certain situations. It happens to all of us. We've all been compromised, and it makes you feel dirty. You hate it. You hate it when you have to do it, but you also don't do it in order to, you don't cut off your nose to spite your face. You don't do it.
And one thing I would say that, because when we've had this conversation in the past, I think we've talked about the nice thing about the SEC is they'd fill up Joe Campbell Stadium and all that. And people have pushed back later. I've gotten emails from people or seen comments in the YouTube or whatever. And they're right. There are a lot of Big Ten fans in the state of Florida. Like if you go to lovely Tampa, you get a lot of Midwesterners that would come to those games. So while we've said, our Purdue fans going to come down 3 or 4 years later in the Florida State's in, are they going to come down? Or Indiana fans going to come down? Maybe not as many as Auburn fans would, but there are a lot of them in this part of the country who would come.
Well, it's not maybe, Ira. It's not close.
Yeah.
Auburn's
selling out there a lot.
I'm with you. I just think we probably underestimated it a little.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. If Florida State ends up in the Big Ten, I'm not going to be laying in bed going, oh, my God, I can't believe we're not in the SEC. Let's first of all, especially the expanded Big Ten, I think it's fun to go see Florida State play Oregon or Washington, or go see them play Ohio State or Michigan, or that would be great. I'd be fine with all of that. That'd be fun. But I also think that it does make much more sense geographically for us to play in the SEC. And again, I think they're fine financially if they're in either one. They're going to be fine. And there will always be aspects of being in the SEC that we won't like. I mean, I loathe many of the SEC traditions that they're fan bases, for whatever reason, embrace. That the collective joy in one another's success is bizarre to me.
Corey's going to be great on Feinbaum, though. They'll probably have a regular spot.
I can't wait. I can't wait to take calls. I can't wait to have Agnes from Mobile call me to tell me what a bald idiot I am.
Yeah. It's
there'll be a trade-off.
Which player and position group playing above expectations would have the biggest impact on the team in exceeding those predictions? Okay, so that's Brandon. He wants to know if somebody is much better than we think, and that we're predicting they're going to be, if they were exceedingly better at, who would have the biggest impact on the team if that were the case?
Well, quarterback. But let's take that off the board because that doesn't even count. Obviously, if DJ plays like a Heisman contender or a Heisman winner, that has an enormous impact. But I would say wide receiver.
Which player, though?
Oh, I thought he just said position group. Portier. That's my guy. That's my dog.
Kentron catches 60 balls.
Well, I mean, if he's a stud,
that's going to be his nickname, Ira. That's going to be his nickname. Kentron catches.
Oh, Kentron catches. Not bad. I kind of like that one.
Yeah.
Kind of like the alliteration there. I see you.
I would say that, or Blake Nicholson is like an all ACC linebacker.
Boom.
That would be,
or Cryer,
but I'm leaning towards Blake. But either one of them,
yeah.
I'll be honest with you guys. When I watch Nicholson play, I see a little bit Dick Butkus mixed in with some Romanowski.
Oh, yeah. I see.
And Kuechly from Boston College, who went on to be a really good player in the NFL.
More than a really good, he's a Hall of Famer.
Herzlich, maybe, but no Singletary. You don't see that.
Oh, no. He doesn't move like that.
It doesn't really work. No, Ira. What about Matt Millen? You see some Matt Millen in him going
back?
The
leadership and the captain, coach on the field. Yeah, absolutely.
Not bad. I see you working. Yeah. I don't know the theme there, but it all seems
all really good players. A mix and amalgam of a lot of really good linebackers.
Really good players. Good afternoon, fellas. What's the expectation of the Seminole Faithful game day in Dublin? I'd like to imagine the signs and the chants will be a mirror image of Kirk's Twitter replies. It's fair to say I've fantasized about catching Kirk on the links and being Happy Gilmore. Oh, man. It's so basically, yeah.
This is our hit Kirk Herbstreit with golf clubs, please. Anyone.
It's going to be, but Are you and Stephanie, do you guys already have like an itinerary? I know you guys have some big picture things, but we're starting to get into the itinerary. We're getting the nitty gritty, guys. Looking at some tours.
We're thinking, do the tours?
I'm not a big tour guy.
I'm not a big tour guy, no.
But I'm thinking about, because we want to go to Galway.
Which is incredible, and I've been to Galway.
So we've talked about doing the train over.
Do it, yeah.
And
it's beautiful. You get to see the countryside.
That's the thought. But then we're also
got to go to Cliffs some more. You got to go to Cliffs some more when you're over there, yeah.
They also have tours from Dublin. They'll take you there.
Yeah.
They take you to all the different places.
Yeah.
And then just take you back. So you don't have to stay.
I think you should stay one night in Galway if you get a chance. Galway's awesome. It's truly awesome.
So we're trying to figure that out. But the Cliffs of Moher are like an hour away or something.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I thought it was like right near Galway.
Are y'all going to drive? Are y'all renting cars?
That's the question. That's the challenge.
I'm
the
thinking
nice
about
thing about
car.
tours is you don't have to.
The first time I was in Ireland. No, you're not doing it?
I wouldn't trust myself to drive.
You do it. You'd be all right.
I mean, Matthew Broderick killed a mom and a daughter driving on the wrong way in Ireland back in the 80s.
Yes, he did.
And did you know that, Ira? It kind of gets a little swept under the rug. My man killed 2 people and he paid $100 fine. And he was driving. He wasn't drunk, but he was driving on the wrong side of the road and ran into a car and killed a woman and her daughter.
I have driven on the wrong side of the road. I'll do you one better. In Ireland, the first time I went, we rented a car, and of course, the steering wheel is on the other side, and I was shifting with my left hand, not my right hand. It was a stick shift.
So that was,
I did it.
The steering wheel is. I don't think I even realized that the steering wheel is on the right. Oh, I'm definitely not renting a car.
And the problem, Kim brought that up. Apparently, somebody was telling her that the majority of cars over there are manual, which I'm fine with, but not on that side.
I whooped ass. You would have been shocked. When we got the car, it was a Peugeot. I went, I don't know about all this. I don't know. I was like, babe, we're going to die. We're going to die. And she was like, you can do it. And we threw caution to the wind. And your boy drove all over Ireland, all over the island, and not a nary a problem.
Maybe we're all going to be in
ambidextrous beast.
Maybe we're all going to be in such a good mood and so festive out there that we're not going to have time to hate Kirk Herbstreit.
Well, I'm not going to concern myself with Kirk Herbstreit. I'm too busy seeing all the great things in Ireland, and the people of Ireland are awesome. But the fan base, on the other hand, could be dicey. And we've talked about this, the plans as of 3 weeks ago. And again, I don't know. I'll talk to somebody at ESPN again. I still got some connections there. Was that they were going to be in City Center, which is right there in the heart of Dublin. And to me, that's nuts. If you're going to do game day from City Center, then you are going to have some, A, heightened security, and B, crazy expectations of how ugly that could get.
Just real quick from the chat, there's also some people see some Kirk Carruthers, some Todd Reboll, and maybe some Stan Shiver and Blake Nicholson as well.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I like that. Those? Yeah. That's
Shiver was a linebacker, but I see what they're saying. Nicholson's a similar type athlete, can really run and move and hit like Stan the Man Shiver.
I didn't see that one. Did you say Carruthers was in there too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking Carruthers, just stylistically.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
And both had good hair.
Yeah. I will tell you that I told you a year ago I met that family, the Nicholson family, and the mom and the dad and the brother.
I don't think I remember.
I was out to dinner, and they were all out to dinner, and he and Blake was with them, and I had a long conversation, and they thanked me for all that I do.
All right.
You do so much for the Nicholson family.
Well, and really this entire community.
Yes,
but
you do.
That they understood that, and it was great. It was wonderful. Actually, very pleasant. It was fun, and I'm sure they're listening right now. So I hope they're having fun with our comparisons to all those great linebackers.
Just
of yesteryear, just a wide variety of linebackers. No question this time. Just want you guys to know that I'm thankful for your all show. Tuesdays at noon Central have gotten me through a lot of tough weeks over the years. Thanks for letting us come along for the ride. That's from Wilson. Thank you, Wilson.
Thanks, Wilson.
Yeah, we appreciate that. That was
ironically,
nice.
Wilson just showed up in the chat as well, and he said, "Hey, if you guys need somebody to document the trip to Ireland, let me be y'all's guy." Wilson's like an acclaimed filmmaker, production guy, which is awesome. Yeah, you know him as well.
Yeah.
And that would be great, Wilson. You got to pay your own way, though.
Yeah.
But we'll be happy to have you do that.
If you fly yourself there, put yourself up and use your own equipment and film everything we do and give it to us for free.
It's a deal.
You're all in.
So
you obviously signed an NDA. You're not disclosing any of what you see, and we get final cut.
It can get loose in Ireland.
He's already backed out.
Oh,
That's too bad.
That was too much. it's a negotiation, Wilson. Maybe we'll Gator Kirk writes, good afternoon. Could a solution to the early signing period be to limit it to only enrollees in the February day for everybody else? Congrats on the family additions, Jeff. Oh, yeah, I got 2 new dogs. Thank you, Kirk.
I don't mind that. I would like anything different than like what it is right now.
100% correct.
So, so his premise is you only have to do December if you're going to be enrolling in January, which makes sense. And then everybody else would, but I think that ship's gone. These college coaches do not want to keep recruiting past December. They want it to be
the problem. Let me ask both of you. Can I ask you this? And we do have to take a break, but if we have to save it for your answer on the other side, I am curious about this. So the way it is now, a week after you'd play your rival is signing day.
Yeah, in that week, yeah.
Before the championship game that gets you to the playoff.
So that's just dumb on a lot of levels. So if Florida's going to fire Billy Napier, okay, they're signing a class a week after they lose to Florida State.
They would have fired him a long time before that, but
is that the play?
Yeah.
Well, then who are you bringing in?
You're going to be firing a lot earlier, I guess. But
who
then
do you bring in? You're not going to hire anyone.
And by the way, when you bring in a guy, it means you secretly had a deal long before. Which, do you want to bring in a guy? Are you happy about that, Coach?
You got a Schlossnagel situation.
You got a Schlossnagel situation. They schlossed them. Look at that. They schlossed them. That's what's going to happen.
Schloss will be a verb.
I just don't like it. I think it's bizarre. And you are going to have to start making decisions like week 3. All right, this guy's ass. Let's go with the interim coach and start our search. And what? Now we're going to start talking to a guy who's By the way, Florida is not exactly going to hire an assistant coach from some small-ass conference. They're going to look for a big name. So what are they going to contact the head coach at call Matt Rule at Nebraska in the middle of the season? Like, what do you?
Yeah, people floated Lane out there because he's got this big year at Ole Miss. But yeah, man, he'll be in the middle of that if they do have a good year.
And he's recruiting to Ole Miss all year. And then what do you do to salvage that class if you're signing it a week later? How do any of them stick?
It's an imperfect sport.
It is. It's very imperfect.
That situation's really ugly. That's going to be very strange. Very, very strange. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Pest Control, we know if you have something in your home that's not supposed to be there, you want it gone now.
Not in a couple of days, not tomorrow, but today. That's why we offer a same-day guarantee.
If you call Paul's before 12, one of our technicians will be out before 5. We guarantee it.
The health of you, your family, and your pets is why we promise to do everything possible to quickly resolve your problem.
And we do so using the safest chemicals. Notice a pest problem?
Call Paul's Termite and Pest Control before 12, and we're there before 5.
Call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
We're all spending more time at home than we ever have.
And our yards have become more than something we look at through the window. They are now a major part of our refuge.
Now that we're outside more, wouldn't it be great if we could eliminate the things that make us want to run back inside? Pests like mosquitoes and fire ants.
Paul's Pest Control can do just that, and we'll do it for a surprisingly low cost.
Our treatments are done outside. There is never a reason to enter your home.
The weather is beautiful, and now is the time to be outside.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control will help you take your yard back.
Call us for a free consultation.
Dude, that's quality radio right there. Tell us how you really feel.
Sorry, man. I'm just so tired.
And why do we think we're tired?
Oh, I haven't made the Grassroots coffee yet.
Yep, Grassroots coffee tastes even better than it smells.
Roasted to perfection.
And so many blends and single origin coffees. You can have a different tasting coffee every day of the week.
You can order directly from grassrootscoffee.com.
And with a Grassroots Coffee subscription, you'll never run out of your favorite brew.
Locally owned, locally roasted for everyone and loved everywhere.
That's Grassroots Coffee.
Surprising flavors, cultural authenticity, and unique adventures are some of the main ingredients that go into every single plate served at Café de Martín, Tallahassee's best Peruvian dining experience. Led by classically trained Chef Martín, passion for culture, passion for flavor, and a passion for people can be felt from the moment you step inside. Café de Martín also offers an unparalleled outdoor dining experience in the garden. Surrounded by vibrant flowers and plants and nestled between carefully curated decor, the shaded and breezy outdoor garden features elegant live music regularly, and the romantic evening lighting makes Café de Martín the best place to share conversation and connect with the ones you love. Every dish is made from scratch, and every drink is handmade by trained bartenders, offering the very best margaritas and old fashions in the city. Take a trip to a Peruvian paradise right here in the capital city. Visit Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open daily for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Find the full menu online at cafedemartin.com.
Every journey starts with a first step.
a daring step. But what they don't say about first steps is that you have to keep going, taking step after step, and eventually you take a big leap, accomplishing more than you ever thought possible. After 57 years, Tallahassee Community College is soaring even higher, and we're now officially Tallahassee State College. We invite you to take a step and visit Tallahassee State College. Learn more at tsc.fl.edu.
I'm attorney Tony Fusco with Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we believe you. Now, what does that mean? Over and over, we hear from the people we represent that when they shared their story of how they were injured, either law enforcement, insurance companies, or business owners didn't believe them. That's why you need an attorney that has your back, no matter what. An attorney who starts by believing you're telling the truth. We are Basic Brooks, and we believe you. Let's talk. 850-777-7777.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Carol writes, you guys, for the most part, pushing the SEC over the Big Ten bewilders me to no end. Why would we want to go to the network and a conference who snubbed us in the playoffs and be treated as a redheaded stepchild? I would rather go to the Big Ten. Fox would love us, more academic and athletic monies for the university. And yes, there are so many Ohio State fans in Florida. I want the Big Ten over the dreaded SEC, but anything is better than the ACC. We can agree on that point, but the SEC, no. Well, Carol, I don't think that that ESPN and the SEC would treat us poorly once we were part of the machine.
They might a little, but yeah.
Yeah, probably not. I think that we're an asset and of great value to either Fox or ESPN. And once we're part of the machine, we would benefit from it just like the rest of those that are part of those machines.
But we all agree. We understand the anger.
Without question. Yeah.
Real quick, Steven, my buddy Steven posted in the chat. He just found out his neighbor is getting an Artesia water delivery as we speak, which is awesome. Thanks, Steven, for letting us know. Artesia will be, we expect to be back
on board with Coach Speak,
sponsoring Coach Speak, and Coach Speak will be back. A lot of people were calling for Coach Speak last week from the Schlossnagle press conference.
We should have had it.
They were a lot of people were calling for an emergency Coach Speak. It's hard to do a Coach Speak in the summer, but we'll be back.
Not enough coaches speaking,
right? But he was he might have if we were going to do an emergency one, that might have been it.
Dave added to the super chat, said, what's your SEC fan starter pack? Chewing tobacco, jeans, shorts, NASCAR hat, an extra 20 pounds on the gut. Yeah, that's fair, Dave. There's no doubt there are some ugly accessories that go with joining the SEC. And you named a few, to say the least.
That's one thing, and I'm not – and y'all know where I grow up. Y'all know where I live right now. I live in an SEC part of the world, and that's one thing I don't really take into account is it would be cool for like a bunch of Tennessee fans to fill Tallahassee and come to that game. And then you're like, well, would it be cool for Tennessee fans to come to Tallahassee? Like that's, I don't know I don't think of the unintended consequences of things like that. Arkansas, Tennessee, any of the Mississippi schools and their cowbells coming to Tallahassee.
Yeah, I mean, what I am intrigued by is
that sigh. That was good.
Well, because my last two experiences with SEC fans, honestly, were all of them, not just the Georgia fans, but all of them after the snub and after the Orange Bowl, when no matter what you said about anything, the response was 63-3, which was just like, man,
people in mass suck in general.
Oh my God,
you do realize that.
And
right?
then the check swing with Tennessee was like, oh, these people. It's just like every time something like that happens, you have a reminder, man, I don't know. Like that's one thing we didn't have. We didn't have to deal with that so much in the ACC.
No, there weren't many people.
Because there's not a lot of fans.
I think that most large collections of people suck in general.
So that's going to happen in the Big Ten.
And so that's going to happen in the Big Ten. It's going to happen with any fan base. There are plenty of great fans in every fan base. There are awesome fans. I think most fans are fine. the ones that are the ones that make a lasting impact on you.
Yeah.
You know, that's we know the deal there. And that's with every fan base in the country, unfortunately. And this job has allowed me to see that with clearer vision than I did when I was a student or when I was in my late 20s and I would travel and I just assumed, well, we're a very unique fan base and the rest of these guys are heathens.
Yeah.
Garrett writes, with some additional beef up front and a tank for a quarterback, do we see Mike willing to go for it on fourth down more than usual?
I mean, he was already pretty willing,
pretty willing.
But I think so. Yeah, man. I think it's gonna be more common than not for him to go for it on 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, even if it's on the minus side of the field.
Well, he's got two very sizable guards to go along with what you have a quarterback with that size, and then you got a couple big running backs. So if you wanted to go that route, yes.
Yeah, Corey, when do you like if he's at the 40-yard line?
Okay,
his own 40, 4th and 2 or less, unless it's like 3 minutes left and he's hanging on to a 5-point lead. I mean, I think more often than not he's going to go for it, right?
Well, I think the one you just said is when you do go for it. In the game.
Well, yeah.
Because you can end the game right there. I think that's in his nature anyway to go for it. I think when you have a 6'5", 250-pound quarterback, that if you're allowed to practice what the Eagles practice too. Like whatever that play is, I know you don't have the Kelsey guy as your center, but you know you're allowed to get a QB sneak for 1.5 yards. If you can get 1.5 yards every time you QB sneak it, it makes that decision a lot easier.
Did Oregon State do much of the QB sneak? We need to. I mean, that's one thing I'm curious about.
I mean, he ran, but not a ton.
I wonder if he snuck much.
I don't know. Yeah, I know he ran for like 32 first downs, but I don't know how many were
great at it, and some quarterbacks are not, even though they're big.
Right, and some that are great at it are non-mobile and not huge. Like Tom Brady was as good a sneak as there is. Yeah. Some guys don't have that ability. You're right. I think they're going to run him in general. I mean, quarterback keeper is fine with me at short yardage situations. He's a monster. And that's the thing. He doesn't have to be fleet of foot. He's just 255 pounds at 6'5" or whatever he is. I mean, that's doing some things. I don't know how you're going to stop that short. So
they will.
Yeah. The next question was, who do you guys think will have a season like Tibbs next year for the baseball team? I'll go first. I tend to think, I don't know that anybody's going to have a season like Tibbs. That was a truly special season. But in terms of power numbers and more than 20 home runs, I think Max Williams is a strong candidate to hit more than 20 home runs.
That guy, I bet, led the nation in outs with balls hit over 100 miles an hour. Like, he had a good year anyway. He had over 300. I think he had double-digit home runs.
Up a lot, Corey, to your point.
But holy moly, every series he would have 2 outs a game, 2 outs a series that were like 108 off the bat. He hit as good as he was, kind of as revelatory as he was. Man, he hit into some horrible luck. Right. So imagine him not hitting into bad luck. I think he can have Tibbs-type power numbers next year.
Yeah, he hits the ball hard, squares it up a lot, and he gets enough loft on the ball. Yeah, what did he hit this year? 14?
I don't know. Ira?
Somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, so I could see him hitting 15. More than 20 home runs. You got a candidate that's different? You like that one?
No, I think that's good. I like that. I think he's a much more. If Dingus comes back, Dingus obviously has elite power, but I think Max Williams is a little bit more of a complete hitter. At least from what I've seen. I don't know. What do you think, Corey?
No, I think Dingus is I think they're both complete hitters. Dingus goes the other way and hits the tar out of the ball the other way.
He seems like he has stretches with a lot of strikeouts to me.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what his strikeout numbers were. I think he was a pretty good bat to ball guy, but he hit the ball all over the field hard. He's not as fleet of foot as old Max is. Like, I don't think Marco going to be playing center field. But both those guys should be 20-plus home run guys if they're at Florida State next year. They're both elite power.
Jared wants to know, for football, if you could pick one team in the ACC to never lose to again, who would it be? And you can't say Miami. NC State.
NC State would be mine.
Mine's Wake.
That's fair. Those are both great answers, guys.
Yeah.
I'm proud of both of you. It's really, really good. I think we knocked that one out the park. Nathaniel Hornblower, my man, writes, hello, Jeff, Ira, and Jack Caglione's not-so-secret admirer.
He's even wearing the blue again.
Yeah, that's his guy.
You have your blue sneakers on?
You get the jersey?
No, I don't have the jersey yet, and I don't have the sneakers on right now.
Every team's following has its own set of idiots, but if SMU's online presence is representative of its greater fan base, those delusional nitwits need a merciless beatdown, the likes of which they've not seen since the NCAA gave them the death penalty. After Miami and UF, I think I want to destroy them on the way out the door worse than just about anybody right now. Have you guys seen the nonsensical entitlement and irrational self-worth? P.S. If we jump to the Big Ten, I've got the perfect Register's 5 sausage promo code for Ben. Abe Froman, Sausage King of Chicago. Yeah, absolutely. That is well done. I have not seen this. I don't spend a lot of time on the Twitters these days.
Yeah,
so I haven't seen what SMU is. Is this something you've seen, Corey?
No, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm glad I don't know what he's talking about. I would say that you can't judge a fan base by their Twitter presence.
You'd hope not, because then
you just can't. Like, think about Miami's fans. Like, their Twitter fans are out of control, clearly. But how big of fans are they? Is that their fan base? Like, their fan base isn't that, because their fan base doesn't care that much, as we see every Saturday when they have a game down there. I don't know.
My guess with SMU is, I mean, look, man, Florida State's administration has not hid the fact in their lawsuits and in other public comments that they've kind of taken a dump on those new additions to the conference.
Yeah, they don't think they were very impactful.
And I think SMU's probably been the more vocal pushing back at that. You know, the fact they've got money. People that got money don't like to be
told.
Yeah, that they're not
anything
less than. Yes. So that would be my guess of where that comes from.
Speaking of Abe Froman, though, guys, from Ferris Bueller, they were, Matthew Broderick was dating Jennifer Grey when he killed that poor woman and the daughter.
I was going to say, this is the Matthew Broderick episode.
Yeah, so they had just finished, they had just wrapped, they were on vacation together in Ireland when he had the car accident. And
I'm glad you looked it up, made sure you got all the facts right for this one.
No, I didn't look that up. That's just in the dome. I just remember it.
It struck you. It really it changed your childhood.
I could be wrong. Maybe it wasn't Matthew Broderick.
It was Matthew Broderick.
Definitely Matthew Broderick. I don't know if it was
it made headlines. The internet didn't back then, so it was a little bit easier just to move on with your life. But yeah, it definitely made
it's
headlines.
Weird, right? Because Jennifer Grey played his sister in the movie, but they were dating in real life. So that's all. It's interesting.
I always thought she was cute. It was a good choice for Matthew
at
the time. Well, you can do one better on people that have run over people and killed them and then just went on with their lives. Molly Crew. You've got Vince out here running over or killing his best friend from Saigon Kicks.
I don't know anything you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Look that one up, buddy.
All right.
Yeah. And he was doing like 95 and a 20. And they're just like, that sucks.
And did y'all know that when Paul Walker died from Fast and the Furious fame in a horrible car accident, he wasn't driving. His manager was. His manager was driving like a crazy person 100 miles an hour when they both died.
Princess Di died in a car accident.
Paparazzi got her, allegedly. Yeah.
Henry Ford.
He was going very fast in a Porsche that was a convert. What a silly decision.
Yeah.
Anybody want to add? Well, there's a few during the break. I'll give you a couple of the fire because I want to. Randy Rhoads is a plane crash, actually, Lee. That was not a car accident. You can't do that. Can't throw those in there. I mean, are we gonna go Big Bopper? Are we gonna go
Albert Bell try to run over some kids on trick or treating
on Halloween? On Halloween, he assaulted some. Yeah.
Turns out he wasn't a good guy.
Anything else?
Which is weird because on the field he seemed like a real jovial, good-natured guy, like Kirby Puckett or something. Yeah.
I think on that note, we should probably hit the news, right?
Are we done with the show?
No, we're not done with the show. But I think we have one more break at least.
I was going to say, I've got one more funny. He talked about the Matthew Broderick and Jennifer Grey.
Another addition to that story.
Yeah, well, another odd pairing in a car. Going back, another wrestling reference, since we already started off with DiBiase earlier, Corey.
Got him.
This is Gorilla Monsoon. Gorilla Monsoon was in a car with who?
Nicely done.
So there was a news report. This is probably, I don't know, man. I was probably like 16, 18, 20, somewhere in that ballpark where we knew wrestling was fake. But
But
yeah, there was kind of a little willingness suspension.
I was going to say willful.
Got a curveball when Hacksaw Jim Duggan
riding in the same car as the Iron
Sheik, and they got pulled over with weed in the car,
and vodka.
They were right to the same show together.
I gotta give them credit. So you have a guy who's the real Mr. USA, and he's got the board. And meanwhile, the Iron Sheik is with him, right? And they are driving to the show, liquored up on vodka, smoking weed. Like they're not worried about anything. Those two guys are like, hey, good to see you. Good to see you.
It's a tough life. It's a tough life, man. You live wild.
I'm glad you brought that up. Chris writes, if we're not waiting for the court case to resolve, are we waiting for some inflection point in the legal process where the ACC cries uncle and tries to settle? Or are we waiting on ESPN and Fox dominoes to fall? I guess my question is, what are we waiting for?
I think your first premise was probably accurate. I mean, I think the idea is that a lot of this is just creating pressure, and that the hope or the anticipation that at some point the ACC and ESPN will say, okay, we've got to do something. We can't just let this go on forever. There's some good dirty laundry that came out today. I don't know if you saw it. Somebody mentioned in the chat that was put on, somebody shared on social media that Graham Neff, like the ACC sent a nasty email to Graham Neff, Clemson's AD, because he refused to do one of those Black Friday games like FSU did before.
He said he's not doing it.
They refused. They wanted to move the South Carolina game.
We're not doing it.
Clemson was like, nope. And the whole email is hilarious from Michael Strickland at the ACC. Basically, like, we did all these things. It's very important for us to be good partners with ESPN, and you're not doing that. And Clemson probably was like, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Tough.
No. That's a hard one right there. Remember when you'd like beg your parents and you'd list the 17 reasons why they should acquiesce to your demands?
I should be able to go to this concert.
Yeah, and then they'd be like, no. But were you listening? Did you hear all the things?
I'll wash the cars.
Yeah,
I will do. But no, I think, tying that back to the original point is it's going to be untenable. Like, this whole thing is kind of already close to untenable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think the perception that I have is that at some point it'll get to a point where they just have to say, we've got to figure out a plan.
Well, I'm glad Clemson did what they did, because if they ever come to us at this point forward, since we filed a lawsuit and say, hey, we want you on a Thursday, or we want you on, no, we're not going to do it. What do you think of them apples? Suck it. No. Just no. Yeah, no, I heard you.
Yeah, I got you. Wasn't Franz Ferdinand shot in a car?
Yes. And by the way, they had to chase down. He didn't die right away. Go look that all up, Corey. It's pretty fascinating.
Tupac also was shot in a car, famously.
And
a Pope. Wasn't a Pope shot in a car?
Yes, on the car.
Kennedy got Were you aware of that?
That's true. That happened in I think that happened in Dallas. Yeah.
Were you aware of that? That's crazy. Crazy, guys. Yeah. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The man is in custody after he swam into a swampy pond while attempting to elude authorities Monday afternoon. The Madison County Sheriff's Office announced the man's capture just before 5:30 p.m. Monday after an hours-long standoff with the suspect. Identifying information on the suspect and details on if he will face charges were not immediately available. The department first shared that they were negotiating with the suspect in a 3 p.m. post on Facebook. The chase started after deputies responded to the Deerwood Inn campground after receiving a complaint about a man threatening to harm others. That's when the suspect ran away from deputies into the woods. He waded into a large swamp pond and began swimming out to a cluster of cypress trees. The suspect was armed with a knife and was threatening to self-harm. Monday, Tallahassee Community College announced its official transition to Tallahassee State College. By doing so, the college is aiming to better reflect its expanded academic offerings and commitment to serving the community. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A heat advisory continues until 7 p.m. tonight. Highs around 89 this afternoon under mainly cloudy skies with storms likely. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight. Chance of thunderstorms. Lows around 76. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 88.
Honey, can you go up in the attic and get a few things for me?
Sure, honey. Oh, this is going to be fun. Where's that light switch again? Whoa, can't stand there. I don't even want to know what that was. Why am I up here? There has got to be a better way.
Honey, are you okay?
There is. With Southeast Portable Buildings, call them today. 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400. No need to get up in that attic any longer when you can call Southeast Portable Buildings. They have sizes to help with the smallest space needs to the largest. Call them today. 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400. Or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Still don't know what that thing was in the attic.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Brad wants to know if the Rays should be a buyer or a seller. The answer is a seller. They're not catching either of those two teams ahead of them. I would call it a day, Brad, and move it along. But management in Tampa, St. Pete, I should say, has done a great job. So trust whatever decision they make. They're usually competitive despite spending a third of what everybody else is spending. What kind of pie do you fellas like on the 4th of July?
I mean,
red, white, and blue. All-American pie. You like apple?
Yeah.
Apple pie is good. Strawberry rhubarb pie is good. Pie on the 4th of July.
It's not a bad,
not a bad idea.
There's no bad options.
Gil wanted a Seminole Headlines W's and L's. That'll be later this month. We're not going to do it today. Gentlemen, thanks for all you do. Wanted to know how best we can support baseball and softball. This is from Nick. Both teams are on fire right now, but what is the status of Rising Spear post NCAA hammer? I mean, here's the thing. Just continue to support the battles in, and I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there with Rising Spear right now, but I would say this. They also have coaches clubs.
They do.
Every sport has their own coaches club. And if you donate, it's through Seminole Boosters, but instead of donating to like the overall pool of Seminole Boosters, if you donate to the coaches club, Link Jarrett gets to decide how he wants to spend that money. Lonnie Alameda gets to decide how they want to spend that money. It's not NIL, but it can be used for travel. It can be used for equipment. It could be used for all kinds of things. So definitely look into that. If you already donate to Seminole Boosters, ask your rep about it, but that's
a great answer. Ira Lee writes, guys, is this the year Coach Norvell is able to use the tight end room at a higher level? If so, how? Thanks, and go Noles. I think he's been good with the tight ends. I don't know that it's going to be at a higher level. Morlock is a very viable and big target, and I think he'll do just fine. And I love Landon Thomas, so I feel good about the tight end.
And I think Jackson West, the way he looked in the spring was, you may finally get your Jackson West fix.
Come on, baby.
You've been complaining about
I've been talking about Jackson West forever.
So.
Always hurt Jackson. Keep it together, man.
Big kid, man. Big and physical kid. And he's a grown-up now.
Yeah.
He's also the best chance you have to have an inline blocking tight end. Like, I think if anyone's going to be asked to block and do it effectively, it can be him.
He just doesn't need to make sure he stays away from the referees, because he's quick to swing guy. So Jackson,
he's always been quick to swing guy.
Things go a little sideways. He's got to check his temper a little bit. But
you think he's going to hit a referee?
No, I mean somebody else on the other team.
Yeah.
If
I thought you meant like he's going to be a bad call and start swinging at a referee.
I'm just saying, like he
which we don't frown upon. We don't frown upon swinging at referees on this show, do we?
Yeah.
I would have. I'm surprised the soccer referee from the other night wasn't hit.
It looked like it might be going that way.
It was seemingly headed that way. I've thought about it a little bit more, guys. On the 4th of July, a blueberry pie. Blueberry pie. Is kind of the way I think it should go.
All right.
Just having it kind of like a warm blueberry pie. Like, is it warm?
Could be cold, warm.
Oh, okay.
I like it both.
Just gonna keep it moving.
Because I like warm pie with melted ice with ice cream kind of melting all over it.
Some whipped cream on it too.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Get
It's
it
getting
out.
kind of soppy.
Delicious. The folks at the Lord of the Rings trilogy are working on a new project called The Hunt for Gollum. Do you think they are doing fair casting calls, or is Paul Feinbaum a shoo-in? That's for Taylor Swift.
I mean,
I was wondering where that was going. We don't face shame on this show, but that is very funny.
Chaco McNasty steps up, writes, gentlemen and Corey, what's the best and worst part of being married?
yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
You want to go best?
The best is all the intercourse, right?
Yeah. Crazy sex at all times. That's what you got to look forward to once you get married, kids. You single kids don't understand. You're just patting them away.
Yeah. I was going to go with the emotional support, for each other.
Yeah. Being there in tough times.
Yeah, exactly. Just having that partner. Having that partner in life is the best part.
Chaco, I think putting them to work, getting them in the bathrooms to clean up, meals in the evening, you have that kind of dependent. You understand when you get home, the bathrooms are clean,
right,
and the food is ready, and that's what a marriage is about.
And and
sandwich making.
Right.
And there are no bad parts.
No.
There aren't any bad parts.
I
got divorced and remarried just because I like marriage so much. Like I want to try it out a few different times, guys.
You thought to yourself, what have I given up?
Yeah, right. I got to get back in there.
Michael writes, brothers, happy Independence Day. If ESPN were to cancel the Nathan's hot dog eating contest to win back FSU Twitter and replace it with Register Sausage Contest, how many could each of you polish off?
Wow.
So we're talking like a bun-length sausage, right? It would have to go in a bun.
Yeah.
Well, so they have, all right, because they do have the bun length. You can get the bun length registers. Of those, maybe 3. I don't know. In the context setting, maybe 5. I don't know. I mean, sausage is a little denser than a hot dog, buddy. And the whole hot dog experience grosses me out.
I can't watch that. I never watch it. And I root for people to die in that thing. When I see them doing that, I'm like, that gluttony should be served with death.
If Bryson Clark are watching, you're like, just tell me if somebody dies.
Yeah, I'm like, call me in if my man starts choking out. That'll be awesome.
Or if somebody will maybe wipe his chin so he doesn't have wet hot dog on his face anymore. That's always nice.
I don't even like thinking about this.
Right, so I would say gross. Of the long ones, I'd say 3 or 4, Corey. But of the one length, maybe 5.
I think you could do 5 because I think I think you would do 3 just in a normal setting if you were outside for a whole day.
I'm starving.
Of the bun length.
Yeah, I think you could do. I think you could do 7. If you're, but are you trying to win?
Yeah, I was going to say, what are we doing here? What are our goals? To see how many
you're actually trying to win, Ira, you can eat more than 5.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah.
It'd be tough though.
I think I could probably put down 7 or 8 of the bun.
Do you really?
Ones. Yeah.
7?
Yeah. Now, is it in 10 minutes? And do I get water to dunk it in?
Oh, that's gross. Stop. Hey, and also that motion. Don't ever do that hand motion again. Hey,
but I'm dunking it in the water. I'm dunking the sausage in the water.
My favorite part of you dunking was your hand was open like that when you started. Glenn said something in the chat that made me laugh, and we got 1 minute to go, less than 1 minute to go. I will tell you, I have a weird affinity for ballpark hot dogs. I like at Fenway or at Camden or at PNC. I feel like I could eat like 8 hot dogs in a baseball game. It's embarrassing.
Alexa is a vegetarian. Well, she'll eat chicken and fish, but she won't eat red
so
meat.
not a vegetarian at all.
Not a vegetarian.
The favorite part about being a vegetarian is eating the meat.
She used to be it's hard to keep up. She used to be a pescatarian.
Yeah.
Then she was a vegetarian at one point, pescatarian. Now it's just no red meat. But
ballpark
hot dogs is the one thing she's like, you know what? What if I change it to also hot dogs?
I like it, and it's a good way to end the show. Say happy 4th of July, everybody.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy Independence Day.
Get some pie up in you.
Love you boys. Happy 4th of July. Goodbye.